want to challenge myself. You know, Canelo is a great fighter. He's, you know what I mean, an all-time great, one of the best that came out of Mexico. I'm one of the all-time greats, I feel, you know, and why not? Why not put it to the test, you know? History. Hey, what they say, big chances, big rewards. So I'm looking for that big reward after this.
Terence Crawford isn't just confident, he's stepping into this challenge with fire in his eyes. He boldly proclaims he's ready to take down Canelo and prove he's the best. But not everyone is convinced. Critics highlight the significant weight difference between the two, questioning whether the fight would even be fair. Boxing promoter Eddie Hearn weighed in, stating, "I do think the weight will be too much for Terence. Even in the Jermall Charlo fight, you could see that physically, he's not a big 154-pounder, and he's definitely not a big 160. The biggest concern is whether Crawford can withstand Canelo's size and power. While Crawford's skill, speed, and boxing IQ are undeniable, many believe moving up in weight to face a naturally stronger fighter could be a dangerous gamble. Former champion Mikey Garcia, who has seen top fighters struggle when climbing divisions, warns that Crawford is stepping into risky territory. Though Crawford has dominated every weight class he's entered, this challenge is unlike any before. As the debate rages on, more experts lean toward Canelo, convinced the physical gap is simply too much to ignore.
I'm putting my Canelo.
Why?
Bigger guy. Way bigger. I mean, maybe not in height, but in size-wise.
It's a 30-pound difference.
Well, a lot bigger. Crawford was just fighting at welterweight 2 fights ago.
Garcia's comments fuel the growing skepticism about Crawford's chances. Some fans see them as a harsh reality check, while others view this as just another underdog story waiting to unfold. After all, boxing history is filled with moments where skill triumphed over size. But against a powerhouse like Canelo, the question remains, has Crawford taken one step too far? The conversation has shifted beyond just a fight. It's now a debate about whether true greatness can push past its limits or if those limits will ultimately win. As fight night approaches, more voices are weighing in on the challenge ahead. While Crawford's skills are undeniable, some argue that skill alone won't be enough against Canelo. The Mexican superstar has dominated multiple weight classes, carrying his power with him at every level. That's where the real concern lies. Crawford has never faced an opponent with Canelo's size, strength, and devastating knockout power. And while Crawford's precision and sharpness are elite, some experts worry that, this time, he may simply be outgunned.
I've seen Canelo carry his power up to light heavyweight. I haven't seen Crawford do that. You know what I mean? Crawford's a smaller guy. Is he the superior boxer pound for pound in my opinion? I would say yeah. But going up and fighting a guy who I would say is pound for pound 1A or 1B, whatever, I don't know if that'll be enough.
This debate raises a crucial question: can elite boxing skill truly overcome sheer physicality? Crawford is renowned for his ring IQ, movement, and adaptability, but against Canelo, strategy alone may not be enough. Fighters who move up in weight often struggle or even crumble under the power of naturally bigger opponents. If Canelo's strength carries into this fight, Crawford could find himself in deep waters. However, if Crawford defies the odds, this could go down as one of the greatest performances in boxing history. The line between a bold challenge and a risky mistake has never been thinner. The concerns surrounding Crawford's disadvantage aren't just about weight, they're about power. Even if he can handle Canelo's size, many doubt he can withstand his punch. Canelo has built a reputation for breaking down opponents with punishing body shots and explosive combinations. Fighters who faced him often describe the sheer force behind his punches, something smaller opponents struggle to endure. Former world champion Shawn Porter is among those who believe this will be Crawford's biggest hurdle, arguing that the combination of Canelo's power and weight may simply be too much to overcome.
The others say, like, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Like, once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he's still got that kind of steam.
For those doubting Crawford, one concern stands above the rest: even the best defense can only hold up for so long against relentless power. Canelo doesn't just knock opponents out, he breaks them down, making them slower, weaker, and more vulnerable as the rounds progress. If Crawford can't avoid Canelo's power shots, he could be in for the toughest fight of his career. That said, Crawford has made a career out of proving doubters wrong. His speed, intelligence, and adaptability have allowed him to dominate every opponent he's faced. If he can find a way to neutralize Canelo's power, he could pull off one of the greatest upsets in boxing history. But this debate isn't just about weight and power, it's about risk. Some argue this fight is too dangerous for Crawford, not just because of the physical disadvantages but because of what's at stake. Boxing legend Bernard Hopkins has voiced serious concerns, questioning whether the fight is even worth it. He believes Crawford is stepping into a situation that extends beyond boxing, calling it a career-defining gamble with potentially life-altering consequences. Crawford cares about his life. What does that fight do for Canelo? If Crawford beats Canelo, what does that do for Canelo? Hopkins asked. There are so many other realistic fights that make sense and are less life-risking. His words have sparked a larger conversation about whether this matchup pushes the limits of fair competition. The idea that the fight could be life-risking adds another layer to the debate, making some question if Crawford is taking an unnecessary gamble. On the flip side, others argue that this is exactly what defines legends, taking on impossible odds and proving the world wrong. Crawford has always embraced challenges, but this might be the biggest leap of his career. Hopkins didn't stop there. He doubled down, arguing that the fight is happening entirely on Canelo's terms. Unlike matchups where fighters meet at a fair middle ground, it's Crawford making the move, not Canelo. Hopkins sees this as an unfair advantage, with one fighter taking all the risk while the other remains in his comfort zone. On top of the risk we already take stepping in the ring with guys our size, now you want me to fight someone who won't even come down to 160? Hopkins said. This has become a major criticism of the fight. Many believe Crawford is being forced into a dangerous position while Canelo holds all the leverage. But despite the concerns, the fight is happening, and Crawford isn't backing down. He has built his career on taking risks and proving people wrong, and he sees this as just another chance to do it again. The stage is set for one of the most talked about fights in boxing, and whether people love it or hate it, all eyes will be on Crawford and Canelo when they step into the ring. While critics continue to question the weight difference, Crawford remains unfazed. He isn't interested in doubts, concerns, or expert warnings. To him, this isn't a mismatch, it's an opportunity. He believes his skill, speed, and precision will be enough to not just beat Canelo, but to knock him out. Crawford is putting in the work, training relentlessly, and sharpening every weapon in his arsenal. For him, this isn't about size, it's about proving that the best fighter in the world can take down anyone, regardless of weight class.
What's up, y'all? Looking forward to being undisputed in September. Let's get it. It's work time.
Crawford's confidence sends a strong message to his doubters. While many see this fight as too dangerous, he views it as just another challenge to overcome. His entire career has been about proving people wrong, and this time is no different. With an intense training camp focused on power, endurance, and strategy, Crawford is preparing for war. He's not stepping into the ring just to survive, he's coming to win. Whether people believe in him or not, one thing is certain: Crawford won't back down from Canelo or anyone else. However, not everyone doubts his chances. Some fighters who have shared the ring with Crawford know firsthand just how dangerous he truly is. One of them is Edgar Berlanga, who considers Crawford nothing short of a legend. Berlanga believes Crawford has all the tools, speed, skill, and power to knock Canelo out. While most focus on the weight difference, Berlanga argues that in boxing, anything can happen. Size may favor Canelo, but Crawford's ability to break down opponents and finish fights should not be underestimated.
I truly believe, that, anything can happen in boxing, you know what I'm saying? And Terence Crawford is a legend. He's great. He's a great fighter. The only thing I see that I favor Canelo is that is his weight.
Yeah.
And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford can match anybody and probably do way better. You know what I'm saying? But Crawford is a legend, bro.
Yeah.
And like I said, you can't count him out.
Berlanga's support only fuels the debate further. He knows firsthand the kind of power Crawford brings and isn't convinced that Canelo's size alone will dictate the outcome. History has shown that smaller fighters can shock the world by defeating bigger opponents, and Crawford has the mindset to do just that. He's not just a skilled technician, he has the grit and determination to push through adversity. While many question whether he can withstand Canelo's strength, Berlanga sees a real chance for an upset. With the fight set in training camps in full swing, Crawford is preparing to prove his supporters right and silence his doubters. But the conversation surrounding Canelo isn't just about size, it's also about age and movement. Teofimo Lopez, known for his sharp analysis, has raised concerns about whether Canelo's legs can keep up with Crawford's speed. While Canelo's upper body movement remains sharp, Lopez believes his footwork has slowed. Without strong legs, a fighter's ability to evade punches, cut angles, and deliver explosive shots is compromised. Against someone as quick and elusive as Crawford, that could be a critical factor in determining the outcome.
Well, as long as Canelo fights somewhere in that weight class, maybe 160, see how that works out. I think that we'll get to see from there. I've seen him at 154, although he hasn't fought for that time span since the Spence fight. I noticed that his legs are too old. That's why I saw. Yeah. His movement from the waist up are good. It's still on point for his legs.
Lopez's observations add another layer to an already complex debate. A fighter's legs are the foundation of their mobility, and if Canelo's footwork isn't as sharp as it once was, Crawford could have a major advantage. A quick, agile Crawford could exploit any decline in Canelo's movement, dictating the pace of the fight and forcing the Mexican superstar into uncomfortable situations. Even a slight drop in mobility could make all the difference. Whether or not Canelo's legs are truly an issue, the uncertainty only adds to the fight's unpredictability. Teofimo Lopez, known for his sharp eye and unfiltered takes, has been particularly vocal about Canelo's vulnerabilities. His analysis has caught attention, specifically focusing on the Mexican champion's movement. While Lopez acknowledges that Canelo's upper body defense and power remain intact, he believes his legs are showing signs of aging, a potential problem against someone as fast and elusive as Crawford. As long as Canelo fights in that weight class, maybe 160, we'll see how that works out, Lopez said. I've seen him at 154, though he hasn't fought there since the Spence fight. His upper body is still on point, but his legs, if you don't have legs in this sport, you're in trouble. Lopez's comments go beyond simple analysis, they serve as a warning. In boxing, footwork and movement are often overlooked, yet they can determine the outcome of a fight. If Canelo struggles to move as fluidly as he once did, Crawford could control the distance, avoid dangerous exchanges, and land precise shots from angles Canelo may have trouble cutting off. Even if Canelo's power remains a threat, without the footwork to close the distance effectively, he could have trouble landing it cleanly. Amid all the concerns about weight and physicality, one perspective stands out. Legendary trainer Stitch Duran recalled a conversation with the late Roger Mayweather, a respected figure in boxing, who believed that weight divisions were never the defining factor in a fight, it was always about skill. Fighters of the past didn't focus on size disparities, they focused on adapting and proving themselves in the ring. Duran has taken that wisdom to heart and believes the same applies to this fight. To him, skill, not size, will determine the outcome. He's confident that Crawford's technical ability, intelligence, and adaptability could be enough to overcome the weight gap and take down Canelo.
Roger Mayweather, when I worked with him, the late Roger Mayweather, I was talking to him and he said, nowadays, MFers, they have all these different divisions. We used to fight guys of different weights. He goes, it's not the difference in the weights. He goes, it's the caliber of skill level that you have. And I always thought about that, So can he beat Canelo? Of course. Can Canelo beat him? Yes.
Duran's perspective offers a fresh take on the debate, challenging the common belief that weight alone determines the outcome of a fight. To him, skill and execution matter far more than size. If Crawford can outbox Canelo, the weight difference becomes irrelevant. His confidence in Crawford's abilities gives hope to those who believe talent and strategy should outweigh physical advantages. In Duran's eyes, this fight isn't about size or power, it's about proving who the better fighter truly is. But Duran isn't the only one who places skill at the center of this matchup. He remains steadfast in his belief that Crawford's adaptability and ring IQ will allow him to rise to the occasion, even against a powerhouse like Canelo. In a sport where physical attributes often dominate the conversation, Duran's stance is a reminder that technique, intelligence, and precision can level the playing field. While Canelo's power and experience make him a dangerous opponent, Crawford's elite skill set makes him a real threat despite the size gap. With the right strategy and execution, Duran believes Crawford has what it takes to shock the world.
I think the champion, I don't bet, but if I was going to bet one way or the other, I'd go the distance fight. I think Terence Crawford's smart enough to move for 12 rounds. You're talking about getting hit solid. He has to get hit solid like that. So, yeah, if you look at it, definitely was. Don't go bet money on me now. I'm not good at this stuff.
If I were to bet, not that I usually do, I'd lean toward a fight that goes the distance, Duran admitted. I think Terence Crawford is smart enough to stay on the move for all 12 rounds. But he's going to have to take some solid shots from Canelo along the way. That's my prediction, but don't put money on it based on me, I'm not great at this stuff. Duran's insight shifts the focus beyond just physical attributes, highlighting the mental and technical aspects of boxing. It's not just about size or power, it's about execution under pressure. Crawford has repeatedly shown his ability to adjust, whether through quick footwork, sharp counter-punching, or outthinking his opponents in the ring. While Canelo's size gives him an edge, the real battle will be about which fighter can impose their will. In Duran's eyes, Crawford's skill set might be the key to neutralizing Canelo's power. Roy Jones Jr., one of boxing's all-time greats, has his own perspective on how the fight could unfold. For Jones, the deciding factor isn't weight, it's Canelo's approach. If Canelo sticks to his aggressive style, presses forward, and dictates the fight, he'll likely come out on top. But if he allows Crawford to control the pace and create openings, the momentum could shift in Crawford's favor. This adds another layer of intrigue. Crawford's best chance lies in whether he can force Canelo into a tactical battle rather than a war of strength.
Well, the weight won't be the factor. The factor will be how Canelo chooses to make the fight. Canelo comes out and does what Canelo should do, Canelo wins the fight. Canelo comes out and does what he shouldn't do, Crawford wins the fight. Control the center of the ring. Crawford is allowed to control the center, he'll win.
Jones stresses that Crawford's best path to victory lies in controlling the center of the ring. If he can establish dominance early, he forces Canelo to fight on his terms rather than the other way around. This is where Crawford's ring IQ comes into play, his ability to dictate distance, make adjustments on the fly, and break down opponents with precision. While Canelo's power is a serious threat, if Crawford can move freely and set the pace, he has a real shot at pulling off an upset. The key question is, who will impose their will first? Jones' breakdown highlights how much strategy will determine the outcome. It won't just be about strength or speed, it'll be about execution. And amid all the analysis, one thing remains certain: Crawford's confidence is unshakable. He knows the challenge ahead, but he refuses to doubt himself. His mindset is that of a true champion, focused, relentless, and ready for whatever comes his way. Critics can talk about weight differences and physical disadvantages, but Crawford only sees one thing: victory. As he put it, "I'm going to win. I'm going to win, man. I do everything, man. Ain't nothing I can't do." That kind of belief makes him dangerous. While others debate the factors at play, Crawford is already convinced of the outcome. In boxing, confidence can be just as crucial as skill, and Crawford has both in abundance. As fight night approaches, his determination is just as fierce as the challenge ahead. With Canelo versus Crawford fast approaching, the debate over weight, skill, and strategy continues to intensify. Experts like Teofimo Lopez, Roy Jones Jr., and others have weighed in, but the truth is, no one knows for sure how this will play out. Will Canelo's power and experience be too much? Or will Crawford prove that size isn't everything in boxing? At the end of the day, the winner won't just be determined by physical attributes, it'll come down to mindset, execution, and who can take control when it matters most. So, what do you think? Does weight really make the difference, or is it all about who dictates the fight? Drop your predictions in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates leading up to the fight.